Wrestle me, Peter!
Road Wild 97.
Oh,
Who needs that in their life? Who needs to work hard for Road Wild 97?
Do you know, I'm really pleased that we picked it for this one. And I picked it for the main reason is I wanted you to be excited to return to Sturgis. I knew you'd love a return trip to Sturgis. But it's a stinker of a show. Not fun, bad, not good, great. Just somewhere in the middle, bland, beigey, chewy nonsense.
It's like a lovely... I remember, like, after Christmas, I'd bought so many sort of Iceland-adjacent vol au vents and kind of beige food to put in the air fryer that at the end of Christmas, I was like, I cannot face another pre-fried thing that I'm going to put in my... I don't care if there's a camembert in it. It's just... this
Do you know
show,
what, Pete?
Roll Wild 97, was beige food.
I can tell you, Pete, a baked camembert from Iceland changed my entire life because I had exactly that, where I had too much beige food. I had a baked camembert square. It was an Iceland one. And then for the next day, I was like, I feel appalling. And then that night, I began throwing up, and it was just solid cheese. And I was like, I've had a lot of cheese over this period. And I had pains in my side. And I was like, I have got...
Sounds like a scene in Alien where that man just vomits up white milk.
Do you know, when you said that, do you know what I just thought of? And it's a problem about being an internet person. I thought of that strange photo that appeared about 10 years ago and then disappeared of the girl feeding the other girl milk.
Yes, okay.
That stuck with me, that one. That stuck with me.
Interesting vibes.
That does not make me feel sick, but it does make my stomach go a bit fluttery. Sturgis, Petey. Let's go back there. Let's get on our disgusting hog. Let's get our beaten up old...
Not a hog. Not allowed. Not a hog anymore. Different animal. Different animal.
That's right. It's August the 9th, 1997. We're in Sturgis, South Dakota. And... it's not got nicer, is it, Sturgis?
No, and I was trying to sort of figure out why it looked even grubbier. I'm not really sure whether it might be the wonky chopper footage from above. I don't know what... It's, you know, at the end of the Father Ted titles where it sort of zooms in, it looks like it's going to crash.
Yeah.
I feel like all of the carbon monoxide in the air has affected the flying of the helicopters.
It's like the air's gone too thin or too heavy.
Yeah, and for the same reason they couldn't fight those fires in California because the winds were too high. These helicopter pilots feel boozy.
They do.
And woozy.
It's just, but as you said, look, they're not into hogs this year. This isn't Hog Wild, is it?
No,
they're
Road Wild.
Roads, Pete. You like the road, don't you?
Roads. They've forgotten about the hogs. They've remembered what got them there to Sturgis. Yes, the road. Thank you.
Road. And and
that's tax dollars. And that's tax dollars, isn't it? You know.
They like the tarmac. They like the gravel. They like
those bikers love infrastructure. They love dependable, reliable infrastructure. They're always going on about that.
Well, in fairness to bikers, I mean, they aren't hypocrites because you never see them in the woods or anything.
No, they're never off grid, are they? They're very much on grid.
They are.
That's where they live.
I suppose you might see them in the woods if they had a clubhouse where they'll take some teenagers who have, I don't know, they think have done them over in a drug deal.
Yeah. And then paste them.
Yeah, exactly. They'll teach them what for, won't they? in an insane orgy of violence.
But this time round, WCW is in a fucking state.
Do you know what's so amazing, Pete, is that a week before this they weren't. A week before this, they were on top of the world. Now, I know we say this a lot, but this is a key WCW show where it all started to collapse. And there are a lot of those. There are a lot of those where it collapses at different times. But what had basically happened before this show is there'd been a Nitro. Lex Luger, in the middle of 1997, had got himself over with the crowd in a way that no one was expecting at all. Yeah. And he was going up. He was the first person to go up properly against the NWO. And surprisingly, on Nitro, he was so popular, they had him beat Hulk Hogan for the WCW World Championship. Great. Oh, we've had a great hot angle has fallen into our lap, and we've run with it. But the problem is, because it's WCW, they were like, hang on. We've been building an angle for Hulk Hogan to get to Starrcade where he'll meet Sting. And Sting's been out of action for 18 months, making these funny appearances here and there. And they were like, so hang on. We shouldn't give Luger the belt. That's a mistake. We need to get it back on Hogan. And so they went, well, we need build up for Sting. So let's get the belt off Luger as quickly as possible. So having had so much natural momentum, which Tony Schiavone on this show, he says it was the biggest night in WCW. He mentions more people watched Lex Luger win the championship on TV than had ever watched any other WCW world title match. And they say all that and they go, let's take it off him at this pay-per-view. Let's puncture that balloon. It's hard to mess something like this up. And WCW are like, no, we can do it.
What do you think Kevin Nash wants to do? That seems to be, what does Kevin Nash want out of this?
I mean, they also do an amazing thing here, which is, after this sort of hot thing, having destroyed it, also nothing in this show is good. Nothing in the show is good at all. Even down to like the credits, they got a wheel. It starts Road Wild, and the tagline is "Everything is rumbling at Road Wild." And how many minutes did that one take?
Everything is rumbling.
There's a little video as well at the start, and it goes, "Hogan is taking the NWO to the top," and it's got a weird yelpy noise in between. And once you notice the yelp, if you notice it early on, you cannot stop hearing that yelp, and it goes, "Luger coming to the rescue."
Like a little dog getting run over by a bike.
Yes.
Oh.
Like, we don't see Pepper this year with Steve Mongo McMichael. Every chance that was Pepper being run over. But yeah, they just do that. It's going to be the hottest night of the year.
He's got him in the ring.
Lex Luger has recaptured the WCW World title.
Luger won the title.
WCW heads triumphantly into the Sturgis bike route. Will it be a short trip of victory for Lex Luger?
Luger's a champion. Luger's a champion.
I can't help but think this whole kind of sorry, affected nonsense that we witnessed for the 2.5 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was, it's something to do with the fact that Bobby doesn't get as pissed as last time.
No, absolutely.
And it's just, he's on his best behaviour, and the show's worse for it, to be honest.
It is. And I mean, as much as I hate racism, Pete, it did liven up lots.
It did lend a bit of spice.
Yeah. But I think what was even more annoying about that is right from the off, this crowd are just like, oh, we're not racist anymore.
Yeah,
it's like, what happened in late 96? Yeah. Late 96, early 1997, that all the bikers were like, actually, that was whack, man. That was bullshit.
Kurt Cobain. 2 years. I'm trying to think what happened in 96. Probably like a good Pearl Jam album.
D-Reams, things can only get better.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Something like that.
Might Chumbawamba, maybe? I don't know.
Could be tub thumping.
Yeah.
Could be tub thumping. I think you're onto something there.
If you happen to be in London on Sunday the 7th of September, you can see me, Mark Haynes, and the Wrestle Me live show at the London Podcast Festival in King's Cross. Come down, tickets are available now. The details are in the description. Click them.
I mean, I'm going to say it, Pete. I mean, I don't know how many, people we have who are bikers listening or, in Sturgis or, from South Dakota. But, I mean, the Black Hills of South Dakota are just chilling. I find them really horrible and frightening.
And somebody's tried to sort of zhuzh it up a little bit by writing Sturgis in what looks like piss barrels. The sort of like milk cartons you see truckers throw out their windows. It's disgusting.
I actually thought what it looked like, Pete, was dead catfish.
Yeah.
And they've laid them out on the hills for their demon goat god to come and gnaw on. And then the bikers are all out there in the dust and the mud and the dirt, just revving away.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. They mentioned over 300,000 bikers were part of the Great Sturgis Rally. Over 20,000 men have joined us tonight. Not a great return.
No.
On 300,000 being there.
I think it was the Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe like the penultimate day.
No, they mentioned it's the last day, yeah.
Oh, it's the last day,
yeah.
right, okay. So
Terrible.
people are just absolutely exhausted, I imagine.
They're all going back to their offices.
Yeah.
Aren't they,
They're putting their really expensive 20 grand bikes onto a trailer.
Yes.
And getting the arse out of there.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is WCW at least didn't have to worry about, that affecting the amount of money that came in because no one paid for a ticket at all. So it's irrelevant how many people they had there, whether there was 1 or 300,000. They made nothing from this, which is just, I mean, they all should have been fired. They should. The whole of WCW should have been fired over this bloody Sturgis thing. You got Dusty, Tony, and Bobby Heenan. Dusty does have a sort of baby blue denim smock top on. and very booby in it. Looking very booby. Tony's got another fresh out of the pack, brand new, like deep blue denim waistcoat on. And Bobby's wearing his leather dinner jacket with Diamante detailing and a WCW hat. You cannot wear a company hat when you're working in the company. It's too much. It's too much.
It screams of either you are dressing for the job you want, which is man who sells popcorn, or you are literally, you've given up and you just grabbing whatever is free to keep the sun off.
I know they're going to have a planned dream, but really the momentum is on the side of World Championship Wrestling.
Well, Tony, let me tell you one thing. Opportunity is a knocking on the door, if you will. The big mountain of unsurmountable odds NWO has laid on us the last year and a half could all fall tonight right here in Sturgis, South Dakota.
Let's have a look at the first match. It's Harlem Heat taking on Buff Bagwell and Scott Norton. A tag team, I don't think they're introduced as this in this show, but they were known as Vicious and Delicious.
Vicious and delicious, but unwelcome. You don't need it. You just don't need it. And especially because, like, before this match, there's like there's a vignette of Ted DiBiase and the Steiners looking after a laptop that kind of introduces like that's more important than Harlem Heat versus Vicious and Delicious.
That I loved, for the fact that Rick Steiner, he's got those ear covers that he wears, which are plastic. And in this, for some reason, I've never seen him do it before, but he's flipped them up off his ears. So they're on his head like bat ears. And he looks like a sort of space fly. And he's staring at that laptop like, what is that? What is the moving image on the Rock? How is it doing that? He looks a bit like Christopher Biggins in the Rocky Horror Picture Show as well. He looks absolutely bananas. This is quite interesting because WCW, on the basis of the year before, Harlem Heat at this point are big fan favourites, and they decided to have them at Road Wild wrestle and come in like they were heels because they were leaning into the fact that they were fairly sure the audience would hate them. The audience don't hate them. They sort of are fine about them this year, and you can see Harlem Heat are spoiling a bit for a bit of abuse, and then they just look a bit stiff and confused as to what's going on.
I mean, they had every right to worry that they would have gotten the same treatment as they did last year.
Yeah, and coming back, that's
Stones, man.
Yeah, absolutely. What they've done, of course, is they put them in a match with Scott Norton, and there is a part of me that says that is a great insurance policy. That you are effectively, if anything kicks off, you've got Scott Norton, who is not someone you want to see wrestle, but is definitely not someone you want to get on the wrong side of. Just an absolutely ridiculous heft of a man, just really super strong, and by all accounts, quite sort of had a temper. Scott Norton's one of those funny guys because his American career is really underwhelming, but he was a big star in Japan, and he was very, very over there at points, a big main eventer. Never clicked in America. I think his style did not fit what was going on in America in the mid-90s, and they come out, they've got this funky NWO music for Bagwell and Norton. Bagwell is uniquely annoing as well. He really loves. He's the proto Miz, and he's a Miz who didn't do any Make-A-Wish sort of wishes, sort of irredeemably nasty. And they've got the wedding cake ring again. Pleased to see that, but they're not as ashamed as they were of it last year. They do say, "Oh, we've got an elevated ring, and it's another place to fall." And then they say there's another level as well, made of rocks and dirt, and they are really leaning into that. And, again, they haven't stuck the letters WCW on the ring.
No, thoughtless.
I just think they must have thought, we don't want people constantly saying, why is I thought this was the WWF. I don't know why they wouldn't have put it there. Unless they're still so nervous about that Hog Wild thing being sued that they're just like, just
they get in so much trouble.
Don't let them see what the company's called. You do see the hills in the background in this match as well. It's still nice and sunny, and it is funny to see hills in a wrestling show. You don't really see any of the big ones. They tend to be in stadia, and so with a low crowd, it's just weird watching Ric Flair wrestle and there's a mountain behind him. It's quite sort of beautiful.
The
nicest thing about this match is halfway throughout comes Miss Jacqueline. Wonderful performer, Jackie. She say it like I know her. Oh, Jackie, wonderful performer. She comes out, and what they've done really here is, I think, thinking that the crowd are going to be giving Harlem Heat a hard time, they've brought out Miss Jacqueline, a woman so lovely that it would be impossible to be racist around. She comes out, and what are you going to do? What, boo the most beautiful woman there? Who's also, I think, about 5 foot tall. And they do all start revving their bikes there. Whether that's piped in or not, I don't think it would have been. I think it would have been, I am a white nationalist, but come on,
cannot deny.
You've got to give it up for
that.
That
does happen quite a lot in that kind of white nationalist community. The penis knows no hatred, I would say.
It's the most noble of the organs, isn't it? I do always think, you could cure racism by certainly in the 80s, you really could have cured it by saying, I know you're a hardcore racist, but would you like to go out for one evening with Grace Jones? And you'd go, do you know what? I mean, I'm not going to turn it down, no. And then, next morning you'd be like, well, that was mind-blowing.
She did punch me a lot.
Yeah. She floated.
She didn't even know I was racist.
Oh, dear. Look, I mean, I did, against all the odds. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of Harlem Heat. I don't like Scott Norton. I do not like Buff Bagwell. I don't like Sturgis. And I think Road Wild's a bad show.
All the ingredients for a lovely time.
All that said, I did sort of enjoy this match. I don't know whether it was just that I haven't seen 90s WCW since probably before Christmas. But I just found it easy to watch. And there's a good leg lariat that Booker does right at the end on Scott Norton. And it basically cuts Scott Norton's head off. I've never seen it done that well. And it looked so good. And I think the bikers at the end, they are revving, and they're not revving because they're angry. I think they're like acceptance. It's a rev of acceptance. And I really thought, I think we've all learnt something here. The big sign as well that you get after this match as well, which I saw, it says, "Can you smell that smell? It's the New World Order." I don't know what goes into the mind of someone. They obviously thought, I want to take a sign. But then he's like, I don't know what to write on it.
No. Well, maybe just going, what is one of the senses?
Yeah, and this actually predates The Rock as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a sort of something clever. It's literally, can you smell that smell?
Yeah, it's carbon monoxide.
Yes.